Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sachelle Reed. It is Monday, July 29th, now 99 days away from the presidential election. Less than 100 days. Vice President Kamala Harris appears to have gotten a big boost in support following President Joe Biden's exit from the race. Spectrum's national reporter Angie Gonzalez has more on that and the attacks coming from both campaigns. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Sachelle, from junior senator to now on the ticket as the VP nominee.
But also interesting to hear, like, they didn't care who he picked because people are so supportive of Trump and his policies and his stances that they were going to vote for him anyway. Very interesting perspective. Thank you, Pete. Beautiful day. If people weren't a fan of the heat, it's a lot cooler, but heating up on the stage, Pete. A lot more speeches on the docket for day 3 of the convention, with the big speech coming. I know when you go to conventions, it's kind of like a marathon. The first couple of days are like getting to know the city and it's so much excitement. Then by day 3 and 4, you start to get a little tired, but there's so much excitement tonight. They had only 28 days to either buy their rental property or find a new place to live. And this is all because of criminal accusations and court action taken against their landlord. A police chase ended in gunshots and an hours-long partial shutdown of the freeway in Milwaukee Thursday. Traffic was backed up for miles. Police, with Vice President Kamala Harris securing enough delegates to get the Democratic presidential nomination at next month's convention in Chicago, supporters hope her campaign will have new energy. Some in the Democratic Party see an opportunity to get out voters of color to support the candidate. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers grill the FAA administrator on the agency's oversight of Boeing after a panel blew off one of its airliners that opened. He shot 2 people who they say were wanted in connection with 2 separate armed robberies and carjackings. Both happened earlier in the day. Milwaukee police say no one was injured in those, but after police tried to pull over the suspect's vehicle, they say it entered a construction zone, reversed into a squad car, and hit an officer outside of the vehicle. Now on Spectrum News 1, former President Donald Trump injured in a shooting at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania Saturday. Law enforcement investigating this as an attempted assassination. Thanks for sticking with us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Sachelle Reed. We start with that breaking news. Former President Donald Trump now recovering after police say a gunman opened fire at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Here's what we know so far.
Has certainly shocked America. So tell me what immediately went through your head when you first found out about this.
Well, it's clear political violence, but he also needs to measure his tones and talk to his people and tell them to get it in order. We are Americans first.
There are a lot of people who would say those same things about President Trump. We hear those complaints that both sides are using rhetoric that may bring violence. What do you say to that? Because this now says something about the political state in America when we have these types of things happening.
I would say that by orders of magnitude, the left has been much more vitriolic. It's being held accountable. So the left, by far, orders of magnitude, has been much more guilty of doing anything even close to what the right has been doing. And that is a fact. And if the press starts reporting these things accurately and evenly, people's eyes will be open.
But certainly any reasonable person does not want violence happening anywhere. I think it is fair, just only because we've spoken about several different incidents that have happened in the last decade, to also bring up January 6th, which would be Trump and Republicans. That would be behind.
Well, listen, political violence of any type is not welcome in the United States of America.
We know that all of this was happening so fast. You bring up the fact that Trump put up his fist and he said, fight.
That's right.
Immediately after this happened. What kind of message do you feel like that sends to those, especially if they were ardent supporters of Trump, and to see him in that state, to see him saying to fight and putting up his fist, what that may bring?
Hopefully it'll bring people out of the shadows. They're my friends. They're afraid to say it because they get chastised at their workplace. They get chastised at the grocery store. Enough of that. I don't want them to actively physically fight anybody, but I want them to stand up for their values. Why should only the left be able to stand up for their values publicly? that time for that is over.
We know that stand up for values can mean very different things for people depending on where they are in life. And for someone, they felt they were standing for their values now, and that is not the direction that we would like to go. So I think politicians in general may have to be sensitive in how they speak about these things. What I do want to ask you about is the Republican National Convention. Obviously, this is what is happening right now here. We're expecting President Trump right now to maybe still attend, but even if he does not attend, the concern changes now as far as safety here and what might happen despite all of the things that have been happening in preparation. The Secret Service prepared for that rally, yet this still happened. So what do you say to people? We now have about 50,000 people headed to the city for this. What do you say to them if they're concerned about their safety? Are you concerned about your safety?
First and foremost, I want to make something absolutely crystal clear so there is zero ambiguity. I absolutely renounce all forms of political violence. Is that clear?
All right, thank you so much, Representative.
Thanks for having me.
Eric Van Orden.
Wisconsin fans love their football, not only because of the Green Bay Packers, of course, but the Badgers. They also have strong statewide support. Spectrum News' Gino Perez introduces you to a rookie long snapper who has played for both teams. Former Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers missed the first day of mandatory minicamp with his new team, the Jets. The head coach says Rodgers' absence was unexcused, but the 40-year-old did warn him ahead of time that he wouldn't be there, saying he would be at an event, quote, very important to him. Hopefully you rested well because it is party day tonight. Summerfest kicks off later today for its 56th year. I got my ticket already. You need to get your ticket too. It's returning. All right, Megan, you said that you could see all of your fans back there behind you, and I'm with you, Megan. I can see them too. They might just be really tiny. They're hiding under the seats. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah. Not a bun. It's 2 Quick Trip Glazer donuts.
I'm not sure we would survive that. It's a lot of sugar on that one too.
A lot of sugar in general at the state fair. But you know,
we're used to seeing animals crossing the roads here across our state, maybe like cows or deer or smaller creatures that you're driving, swerve around in your car. But here's a warning you probably didn't expect. Wayward bison, the Waupaca County Sheriff. Good morning. Thanks for getting up with us, checking out 3 lakes where it is still pretty wet. I mean, you know, it is a lake. However, there is rain falling from the sky as well.
You at least want to see those tarps off the pontoons, you know what I mean?